Hello, this is Matt with PoorManTech.com. Going through the installation of SQL Server Express 2014. SQL Server Express 2014. In conjunction with a series I'm talking about using your corporate data, extracting it, and being able to use it for decision-making processes. This is a pretty standard video, pretty standard installation, and I'm actually going to be pausing it through the boring parts, but I do want to make sure we're on the same page with our installation and our settings so that we can all be looking at a similar data set. Also, there are links on PoorManTech.com to the downloads for these. Now, this is the second post in a series that is going to encompass at least 10, maybe longer than that, depending on how many. We may have split some of them up, where the first post of this was called Intro to Data, which is where I make the case for this being a worthwhile endeavor for you to spend the time, take the time to find your company's data and make good use of it. Okay, we are back. Pause it for a minute there. It took forever. I'm not sure why, but installation, we want to do a new SQL Server standalone installation or add features to an existing installation. Okay, we are finally getting somewhere with it. I've been pausing the video. I'm actually using Cam Studio, an open source screen capture software, and I'm getting a little paranoid when it auto minimizes that it's not pausing when I tell it to pause using my keyboard shortcuts. So I've made one of these videos all the way through only to find out that I had not actually recorded it, and so can't really recommend that. So again, you would accept license terms as you would with anything. We never read these things anymore. We just accept them, it seems like. Hopefully that doesn't ever come back to haunt us. Since I have installed this several times, there will be things that skip that may not skip on your computer if you've not done it before. I'm going to stick with the default here. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. You want to do a named instance. I am going to call this PoorManTech. You can call it whatever you want. And I made a video earlier, and I need to find out if it actually took, where I removed an installation. It's not quite the way most programs are. When you uninstall a program or reinstall a program in Windows, you're actually taking the whole program off. You can run this installation program several times, and down here where's the instance name, instance ID, you can add instances to there. So you can have 3 or 4 or 5 databases with different names on your computer. I'm going to stick with PoorManTech because that's what I'm going to call this one, but you can call it whatever you would like. Just know that when I'm referencing the data set that we're going to be using for this class, I'll be calling it PoorManTech. The interesting thing about the video, when you uninstall this program, you run this exact server installation center as you would, and you uninstall it. You uninstall it like you would a program in your control panel, but instead of installing the program, you're actually only uninstalling one instance of a database. Just a little bit different. I don't know of anything else that's quite like that. I'm going to stick with the defaults on all of these. This is my laptop. That's what we're calling it. Windows Authentication Mode. I like to keep it that way. That way, the user that I'm logged into right now is me. I want to make sure that I am an administrator for this database. Otherwise, I will not be able to add things to it, as I will need to be able to. Data directories, and you can change these if you want to. I'm not going to. I see no reason to. But if you had a shared drive or an external hard drive or something that you wanted to put them on, or a NAS box, whatever, then that's where you put that. Users are allowed to run separate instances of the database engine. that's not going to happen, but that's fine. I don't know what this is, so I've never messed with it. I'm going to stick with the defaults here. Just make sure that if you were to change the authentication mode to a mixed mode where you make your own password for the super administrator account, or SA, it may not be called super administrator, system administrator, SA account, that you know what that password is. Otherwise, you'll be doing this whole thing again, and you'll reinstall or install a new instance and maybe uninstall the instance that you're doing now. Current users already added. I'm going to go next. And I'm going to pause it because this is going to take forever. Or at least longer than you want to watch. This has actually been running for about 2 minutes, minute and a half. And I decided to go ahead and say something about this software and what I'm actually putting on the computer. Most of you were talking about your point of sale system, your inventory system at your place of business is going to have a database of some sort. And the most common one these days seems to be SQL Server. And even a lot of your websites run on the free SQL, MySQL. So what I'm doing here is putting a local copy on my laptop computer, in this case. Any could be desktop, any computer, a personal computer, PC. It's going to be an emulation basically of what your point of sale is going to use. Your SQL Server is just a place to hold data. You can access that data in many different ways. Data stored in a SQL Server can be accessed to a website if they're pulling that way. It can be accessed from your point of sale software or a lot of different softwares. We've got a barcode software they use in the warehouse, made by WASP, and it uses a SQL Server. And when you do scan a barcode in, and it's going into a SQL database. So the database is just a place where data is stored, and it can be accessed through multiple different ways. And the way I'm going to access it initially, I'm going to put programs on here to access it directly, but I'm going to be accessing it for visual purposes through Microsoft Access and an ODBC connection. The cool thing about a database is it can be accessed by multiple users at once. That's part of the attraction, as opposed to an Excel spreadsheet when if you've got that open, only one person can open it. With a database like this, you can have a record locked in the database. If I open a record and am editing text in it, not any other users can still see that data, but they can't actually change it until I have hit next, clicked on to the next record. So I just thought I would do a little background on what SQL Server 2014 Express actually is. It's going to be just a scaled down version of SQL Server 2014 that you would use on your Windows server, as opposed to what we're doing here. I'm going to pause it again because I doubt you guys want to watch this thing go. Okay, this will not always be the case, but in my case right now, it says one or more files. Basically, I'm going to reboot my computer to finish this operation. So I'm going to hit stop, and basically, looks like it's succeeded. Hit close, and I will reboot the computer after I stop this video. And thank you for watching.